Hello everyone. The SDGs Global Festival had been held in Bonn, Germany every year. But this year, this festa is delivered from Japan. At this session, we invite 4 panelists to discuss the theme, Bring the Change Through Local Actions. I am Akiko Takato from the RKB Mainichi Broadcasting Network and I serve this session as a moderator. The RKB is based in Fukuoka City and distributes a wide variety of the local initiatives and information related to the SDGs. These 17 goals is identified by the UN as so colossal and difficult to deal with. That's why it's important that not only nation but also each of us must be responsible to take actions at our feet. Today, our 4 speakers explain about their successful local examples so that I hope that this session will be meaningful to lead to our potential actions from tomorrow. For those who watch this event from all across the world, please join us by using hashtag #TurningAround. Now, first of all, we have that Mr. Yuji Kuroiwa, the governor of the Kanaka Prefecture.
Hello, I'm Kuroiwa, the governor of Kanagawa. This is the second biggest prefecture next to Tokyo. Its population is 9.2 million and its economic scale is equivalent to that of Denmark. Speaking of the SDGs, it's important to overcome challenges. And the biggest challenge of our prefecture faces, as you see this graph, a super-aged society which is rapidly growing. Back in 1970s, the demographic graph represented a nicely formed pyramid, but in 2050, its form will be completely opposite. That means the elderly will be dominant in the society. Assuming the elderly are prone to sick, the society cannot be sustainable anymore. So we must change this. Its enabler is a concept called mibyo, pre-symptomatic disease. In terms of physical conditions, we tend to make it clear if we are healthy or ill, but just think about ourselves. We cannot draw a clear line between them. They are shifted and graded between the healthy and sick. These gradations areas are considered as mibyo. Instead of recovering from the sickness, we must make effort that our condition will be closer to the healthy area in white, wherever you are in the gradation mibyo areas. For realization, the essentials are food, exercise, and a social engagement. This mibyo approach goes ahead with the latest medical technologies such as iPS cell, big data, genetics, and robotics. Their integration makes everybody healthier. Kanagawa intends to achieve healthy lifespan along with our policy of healthy care new frontier. This concept directly links to the SDGs. When I met with Mr. Steiner of the UNDP 2 years ago, I talked about our determination on this issue. We got along instantly so that the Kanagawa and the UNDP concluded the SOI, Statement of the Intent, which ends up to today's event participation. As I mentioned about the 3 essentials, food, exercise, and social engagement. That social engagement is quite important. Please look at this graph. There is a Wakabadai housing complex in Yokohama City. 20,000 people live in this big complex. As you see the ratio of people over 65 years old, it has been increasing for these 10 years. Average is 51.1%, far higher than that of the national average, 28.6%. However, please see the red lines, which represent that ratio of people requiring nursing care. This complex figure is quite stable and actually lower compared to that of the national ratio of the 18.5%. In this complex, while surgeonal age ratio, people don't require nursing care much. So I have decided to interview them and I found that the community is well established by organizing sports and cultural events and others. They have carried out so many activities and become powerful to realize these phenomena. I believe that gives us a big hint. Please take a look at this. What is our goal to achieve? What would be the SDGs goals? We cannot create a society where nobody dies, nor where no diseases exist. But what we try to achieve is vibrant energy. Normally the word energy would be translated to life in English. I would say the term vibrant energy is our goal to achieve. Vibrant energy is mixed with the images of the well-being, positive spirit, healthy longevity, and full of laughter, which will be on the diversity. I repeat again, our goal is to realize this vibrant energy. With this concept, I get along with Mr. Steiner of the UNDP and intend to materialize the SDGs goals. That's the message from Kanagawa Prefecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's very interesting. So I'd like to just ask you about that topic later. And the next is going to be that local food that's cycling. We have the Yukiko Tyler. Hello. I am Yukiko Tyler. And actually, my father did fall sick 25 years ago. Doctor said he would have 2 months to live. That serves me as a trigger to start the initiative that we have now working on to make him live longer. My family chose organic vegetable-based diet. Having said that, back in those days, it was quite difficult to find them, but somehow we managed to obtain them, which made my father live 2 years longer than diagnosed. My father has taught me 2 things. One is the lifespan will be changed depending upon what we eat. It's alimentation who makes us alive. And the second point is that the current society is not sustainable. We are living in the complicated society where we cannot get safe vegetables. Currently, it costs 2 trillion yen to dispose garbage in Japan, among which 1 trillion yen is spent for disposing food waste. 80% of those food waste contain liquid. Next slide, please. By combining our life with the improvement of soil condition, I have found it important that we can have locally grown safe vegetables. So I plan to create a small-scale food recycling scheme along with the composting. 1 unit of area is a 2-kilometer radius. These 2 kilometers are small enough for us to consider that is our own area. Once we can create a lot of circles of the food recycling based upon the composting, I believe enhancement of sustainability. Then I designed cardboard compost for urban areas where so many food wastes are disposed. This design has been outspread to Japan and even Asia. Next slide is about this local food recycling with a 2-kilometer radius scheme was started in 2015. Food waste for 1 to 3 months provided by each household assembled to the compost. Then they are utilized for locally grown vegetables in the community garden. As composts are in the communities, younger generation attend this project. In the residence area, as well as the top roof gardens of the central city, a lot of young engaged with that community and its gardening activities. In particular for the top roof gardens, so they actually appeal to the younger generations. Next slide, please. The community garden organized the class of half urban, half farmer. This is educational activities for residents to become self-sufficiency. We can enhance self-sufficiency, and if they cannot consume their grown foods, those could be sold off at the local communities. People can embrace fun recycling lifestyle and live much healthier on a daily basis. It's meaningful in the urban area to recycle our resources and grown foods because that makes us a change, a set of values and awareness, and ending up to reduce food losses. It's imperative for citizens to enhance awareness and eat food without any losses. Once we have food waste, that should be invested to make them again potential nutrient. It's quite effective to achieve SDG 2 and 12. In 2020, I developed the bag-type LFC compost. This compost is made of the upcycled PET bottles. It's portable and convenient to carry along. So more than 10 million people participated at this project. Among, in particular, younger generations, they are just beginners. So this new LFC project has been gradually started at various places in Tokyo, as well as the Kawasaki city of Kanagawa Prefecture. When citizens are engaged with the compost for recycling life, and public health will lead to prevent diseases and make us healthy emotionally and physically. I strongly believe that food waste contains full of nutrients to make vegetable grow, so that we should not trust them out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tyler. Now, let us introduce Impact Hub Harare, an NPO in Zimbabwe, Africa. Ms. Muku.
Hi, my name is Muku Delisha, as highlighted in the introduction. I've always had the drive and the need to give back to my community, and this has contributed immensely to the work that I do in empowering women and girls in tech-related skills. This is actually my belief that once you educate a woman, you've actually educated the whole nation. And this is one way we make a difference in our communities. I joined the Impact Harare team 2 years back as I felt this was the right environment for me. This was the place that would help me to achieve my goals as the organization is inclined towards positive social impact and drives the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The communities that are around our country are faced with different day-to-day adversities, and these challenges play a vital role in achieving the 17 SDGs. Among the many problems that the communities face include electricity problems. There is also lack of necessary digital access equipment such as laptops due to their high prices, and this actually leads to very few youngsters having access to learning programming skills as well as tech-related skills. There is also high unemployment rate, which is another problem, and this gives rise to criminal activities as most of the youngsters are idle. In addition, there is actually little to no exposure to changes in the technological environment, and we have very few female participation in programming initiatives. Impact Harare is actually focused on achieving positive social impact, and is always looking for ways to help communities and bring about change and sustainability. One way in which the hub helps is through programs that are targeted at mitigating the challenges faced by communities through shaping access to tech education for a generation of young people. Based on the various challenges as prior mentioned, as Impact Harare, we decided to venture into many programs which would help these young people access tech education. Norman is an island, hence we had to partner with other corporations such as the UNDP, UNICEF, the Ministry of Education to attain this goal. With their help and coordination, programs like the Coding Bootcamp were a success. This particular program alone has equipped about 30 children who are under the age of 12 with basic programming skills. For high school students who are basically the teenagers, there is the robotics program. This actually had a huge impact and enabled the participants to be part of a world society solution givers. It has also boosted the confidence of the participants through capacity building and many competitions that they have engaged in. Code is Female is a program that is targeted to females through encouraging them to be involved in the tech space and equipping them with the necessary skills needed for them to take up roles in the tech sector. The top students also have to help transform and develop another to keep the cycle progressing. For this, we have the Facebook developer cycles. Other than keeping the developers on their toes, it also helped them impart their skills to young children and youth. Outside tech issues to impact ladies, other than the Code is Female, Impact Queens, which is a network team, is set to help the ladies around with raising funds to improve the team members' livelihoods. It is an initiative to develop the lives and livelihoods of the women in the team and the communities in which they live while changing the face of netball in Zimbabwe. The team members are from all walks of life, but the unity in vision and the netball court is the glue that keeps the family together. Most reside in the barrier community and have been negatively affected by the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you.
Ms. Muku, your connection is very bad, so that let me continue listening to you later. So the next speaker is the Captain El Casino, the captain of the village called Valanga 22. Mr. El Casino, the podium is yours.
After working as barangay council, Kagawad between 1992 and 2007, I became captain of Barangay 22 since 2013. Barangay 22 is a community along with an creek. It is an urban barangay in the Central Business District. It has a population of 2,531 and a voting population of 1,439 with a land area of 7.6 hectares. That is mostly residential. We have a university and elementary school in the barangay and businesses like warehouses, gasoline station, and small enterprises. Our total income last year is 4.3 million, approximately 9 million yen. However, informal settlers have built their homes along the creek, making it hard to clean and maintain. Years of neglect and bad management have made Bitana Creek a dam site and a major contributor to the regular flooding that has plagued the major business and residential district of the city. As a barangay captain and as a resident of barangay, I wanted to improve our community, especially those along the creek. The people living here are vulnerable to disease, flooding, and other calamities like fire. In 2014, we started the Linear Park project as part of the Hapsay Sapa project in partnership with UN Habitat, city government, and other stakeholders. We talked to the community living along the creek. We explained to them the importance of a clean and flood-free creek. It was not an easy task because we never issued any notice of violation nor notice of demolition. Instead, we made them see the importance of the project, how it would benefit them, their children, the community, and the city as a whole. We were able to convince them unaffected structures like houses, a chapel, and a communal gardens, among others. We moved back by 3.25 meters to accommodate the weight of the park. The homeowners and the community supervised by the city engineering office did the removal and rebuilding of their houses that were encroaching along the easement of the creek. This was done through Corambos, which is loosely translated as pulling together of resources.
さんありがとうございました。皆さんありがとうございました。
And cooperation, this is a perfect example of what a community can achieve if they unite and work together as one. The linear park was completed in May 2017 with a width of 180 meters and width of 3.25 meters. The installation of light posts and construction of plant boxes, the linear park became a community space where people can meet and discuss things that would help their community. I also instituted policies and programs that support the project. For example, barangay residents are required to participate in clean-up programs to be able to get the barangay clearance certificates that they now regulate the use of the linear park. So we can say our project contributed for several SDG goals such as number 6, clean water and sanitation, number 11, sustainable cities and communities, number 13, climate action. As a result, the Hapsay Sapa project won the 2018 ASEAN Townscape Award. The award has brought me to other countries where I get to see the best practices of other places, which I can replicate in my barangay. Hopefully, I also would like to influence other barangay captains to do the same and make improve our communities as sustainable communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for all panelists. From now on, I'd like to pose questions about your activities. First of all, to the Governor Kuroiwa. The Governor, I'm so surprised to see the project of Wakabadai housing complex in your prefecture. Residents are super aged than that of the average, but the ratio of those who require nursing care is quite low. As is a background, people have voluntarily interacted together. As you consider it as a role model, how do you extend it to the other communities? Yes, exactly the success models. So I think this kind of the information should be delivered as a kind of messages and that needed to be accelerated. And it's particular. So once we have found very interesting examples, that means that senior theaters. So that the senior people actually assemble together to form, let's say, a theatrical groups. So in the communities, so I think I think there's another type of the community whose hobbies are quite same. So it's a kind of a theater is created for that among the senior peoples. And they have never ever prayed in their lives. And then of course they have actually the teach I say that the professional how to pray. And in the course of 2 months and a half, there was a trial place. I went to see. And then so that actors, and actually the theater was so full-fledged to say stages. And then actually they played it magnificently. So these glamour and glamper who had never just played in front of the public, and then they showed us the great praise. They were so excited. And these kind of the groups to praise someone. And then so that's going to be that invigorated that power. I think by say the praying together, so that excite them. So they have created this kind of the scheme. So I think, of course, we can actually prevent the diseases and say that say a full of laughter is going to be that say that expanded. And this kind of the attempt should be the repeated, retaliated. So that's the reason why that say that the playful that with the elderly people needed to be extended. But having said that, we are struggling with the COVID-19. We have just suspended the activities. But of course, in that case, they have actually contrived the way. They have utilized, say, online performances. And then, so in the past, the elderly didn't know how to use the internet, but that's going to be a great chance to actually utilize this kind of online operations. This is going to be say a great cycles to make it happen. Oh, thank you very much. Even in the COVID-19, they have actually made they have made the best efforts to maintain the communities. And the next question is me, Taira-san, actually at the RKB. So I think, so we have actually joined together to install the compost at the RKB. So according to you, that as far as I know, that if we recycle 100 kilograms of food waste instead of disposing, we'll be able to reduce 35 kilograms of CO2. Could you elaborate a little bit more? Yes. Here in Japan, so we actually that incineration for that food waste, it costs much. So recycling the food waste to actually to grow the vegetable plants, I think that's going to quite effective to say that the global warming. On top of this, most of the people have utilized a plastic bag to dispose. But instead of the plastic, when you utilize their compost, we can actually reduce that plastic that the waste as well. Originally, so in the say natural environment we live, they have several functionalities. For example, we have the eating the fish or the food, and then of course we can actually reduce the resources from that say our own fuels. We actually exploiting this kind of say that resources from that world, and then this kind of functionality has been actually reduced. The reason why that will lead to that global warmings. So we don't have a waste normally. So any kind of say a living who have actually to say that produce the feces for recyclings. So in the course of that 100 million years, but in the course of the 100 years, this kind of functionality has degraded. So as I mentioned before, so I created a scheme of to say a 2 kilometers radius to carry out that compost, and then so that the citizens attend such a kind of say that the concept. And then, so to working together for contributing to the global or that say warming. Thank you very much, Taira-san. So I know that the several companies they joined the efforts to that Taira-san's. And for example, so there's a cafe project. So we have actually utilizing that coffee grounds as well. So I will actually touch upon the topic later. Thank you very much. And the next is so Muku-san from the Impact Harare. Muku-san, I think you mentioned that education will change the society. You have the strong faith on this. In particular, the vulnerable, social vulnerable, just like women's and children's. You'd like to provide, say, the technology or technique. So specifically, so do you think so they have actually changed the mindset or the behavioral transformations? So have you actually touched up on the gender issues as well?
Yes, so we have a number of initiatives that we have worked on. We have worked with an organization that is called I Am Zimbabwe, and we have managed to raise funds for them to move to a bigger space to accommodate almost 200 orphans and vulnerable children. We have actually had sessions where we have taught the children as well as the teachers tech-related skills, including computer programming. And we have also been involved in sports programming and festivals as we have partnered with other organizations for treatment and food bags for some of the victims of poverty and abuse. We have also fundraised 75 bicycles for COVID response. This has given rise to many of the female teachers gaining interest in tech-related careers, and some of them are now keen on taking up tech-related programs for their tertiary education. We have also worked with an organization that is called Tautin School, and we have trained adolescent mothers to use computers and have provided food for them. This has motivated young mothers who had actually dropped out of school and got pregnant to go back to school and further their education. Sometimes our support may not be direct. We actually support the ones who run initiatives. And one example is the Tyrell Trust, who provide school fees and uniforms as well as food to orphaned girls.
Maxim, thank you very much. We realize that each country is facing the different issues. So, Mr. Eldo, as a captain, you said it was not easy to get people to understand the importance of the moats in the revitalization of the canal. So that what specific words did you use? What specific language did you use to persuade the residents? So let me ask the question. Mr. Eldo, as the mayor of the village, you said that it was not easy to get people to understand the importance of the moat in the revitalization of the canal. What kind of the language or word did you use to persuade them?
The message was that the setback of 3.25 meters would provide access for regular cleanup and access for emergency vehicles like ambulance and fire trucks. As a result, people embrace and own the project to improve the community.
Thank you very much. The Barangay 22, it was very successful and wonderful without using the forceful action. Do you have any advice for other communities to improve community environment with citizens participants like Barangay 22?
Nowadays, there are neighboring communities that eager to develop their environment like Barangay 22. Our advice for them would be to make the community understand what the project is all about so they would embrace it as their own.
Thank you very much. We acknowledge the power of the words or language. So to Ms. Tyler, Ms. Muku, and Captain Eldo, then what is the ideal world in 2030? And for the realization of that world, what is necessary, what it takes to get that ideal world? Ms. Tyler? In the 2030, I think that I would like to see that everybody take the resource importance and the recyclable life. I think that there are 4 missions are necessary. So that for the daily life of the residents and the improvement of the soil should be connected. So that I think that we have to put in place that platform that everybody can participate. and the kitchen waste should be treated and it supports the local farmers. The third one is that sustainable renewable energy is being used in the region. Number 4 is many young people are actively working in the green jobs in the region. So there are the 4 items I'm thinking about in the 2030. So that if you think that the recycling lifestyle is cool or elegant, so that it is our job to disseminate this idea to the rest of Japan. For that purpose, education, local commitment, and engagement in the several programs are very important, so that it is our responsibility to develop the programs. So that we would like to advance the collaboration of the local network and community. And we have to put the design of the urban areas important. Thank you very much. Ms. Muku, it's your turn. What is your idea?
Change is said to be constant, and to elevate the current activities, continuous engagement and training will be offered, which will enhance the adaptability process to the various shifts which are prone to happen in the tech world. This will do so by pushing and upscaling our robotics program to be added to the school's curriculum, as robotics is the future of tomorrow. As many of the day-to-day activities are now being done by robots, it is important now than ever to continue to equip youngsters with skills that will be relevant in the future world. So for this case, we plan to upscale our robotics program. We will also provide teachers with the relevant training for delivering robotic skills. In addition, media is everything these days and a very important instrument in bringing about sustainable change. Therefore, through the engagement of media, many communities will be reached, making it easier to reach mass audiences when it comes to educating many with the relevant skills in becoming sustainable. We also hope to equip communities to be able to sustain themselves by achieving circularity among its members through training, and that is aimed at providing entrepreneurs with necessary skills to achieve sustainable use of resources. People are also to harness the power of technology in bringing about sustainability, and this will be done through sensitizing communities on the importance of leveraging technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Captain Eldo, it's your turn. What is your idea about the world in 2030?
To envision the world in 2030 is not an easy task. The world by that time would hopefully be better in terms of our interpersonal relationships. Our relationship with the environment and our government would have matured and become more attuned to needs of the people and the environment. In my barangay, I hope that the creek would be cleaner and the communities living along the creek would have access to basic social services, more economic opportunities, and improved environment. In other words, you have to work for sustainable community development in partnership with communities and other stakeholders, especially local government unit. We need to be more focused and attuned to what we want in future so that our efforts as a community will be towards the realization of our dreams for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the roles of the media in the local governments are very important and critical to the Governor Kuroiwa. I think the engagement of the residents is very important, but the local government plays a very important role to advance that movement. So what is your vision of the Kanaka Prefecture? Thank you very much for the invitation. What is very intriguing about this session is that there are so many approaches about the SDGs. Environment are different, situations are different, but there are so many channels. But the important, what it takes to hit the SDGs is that everybody takes this for personally, so that you should be take the ownership and responsible for these migrant. As I said, violent, that is a life. What counts for the violent lives? Of course, environment, agriculture, educations, they all take the part. But from the institution of the national government, different activities are taken care of by different departments and the ministries. So this silo types of institution is no more relevant. So that the local government takes the important role. So that target is a violent lives. To be more specific, that creating the community with a lot of the laughs, smiles, and the labs. So that is our objectives, to create the society like that. That is the objective of SDGs. In 2030, the Prefecture Kanagawa would like to create a society with a lot of laughs.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. But in spite of the Mibio, in order to expand the concept of the Mibio, so you'd like to utilize the smartphone. So you have already engaged with such a kind of a project. Yes.
Well, I presented the physical condition in the gradation area between healthy and sick. Then we were wondering if we could digitize these data and discuss this challenge. And the WHO, the University of Tokyo, and Kanagawa Prefecture have had a joint research for 3 years. We can invent a quite simple check with a smartphone. For example, voice is analyzed to review mental Mibio status. By utilizing the latest technologies, Mibio status would become visible. Assuming Mibio gradation scale is between 0 to 100, of course 100 is a full score. When you say that your Mibio status is 40, you are recommended to have a healthy diet, good exercise, and engage some social activities, meaning change your life pattern. Otherwise, your status might be down to 10. You see a future. Thanks to the technologies, you'll be able to see your future. By doing this, we will have responsible for ourselves and want to improve the health condition as our own issues. We have proceeded this initiative too.
Okay, so thank you very much. So these kind of say that the initiative should be shared among us. I think that we will see that locally cultivated the idea. That's going to be a really good lesson learned. And lastly, so this is the last one. In today's session, we have shared engagement of 4 different areas. Could you just deliver your message or what you have noticed through this session to our audiences? First of all, starting from the Eldo-san. Eldo, please.
I hope that we can all unite together, share our experiences, and be there for each other so that together we can build a better world for our children. Based on the local context of our communities and country, let's take collective actions to develop sustainable and safe community for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eldo. And the next is to Muku-san, please.
Yes. My last message is it takes all of us to bring about change. Impact can not happen in isolation, so everyone needs to play his or her part. Let's stand together and be the change we expect. Let us equip our children for a tech-filled children. As they say, catch them young and watch them grow. But I would say, equip them young and watch them evolve into the responsible adults we expect them to be.
Muku-san, thank you so much. Yes, that responsible as an adult, which is very important. And the next is going to be Ms. Tyra, please. Thank you very much for the invitation of this session, Mr. Eldo and Ms. Kasukusa and the Governor Kuroiwa. Thank you for much. So by listening to you at the initiatives, I think that I can see that a great potential for the community to actually expand the activities. What we are trying to do is going to be that materialize that the fun recycling lifestyle. And then, of course, actually, a lifestyle is going to be the improvement of the soil condition could be better by doing this, that we can actually prevent the diseases, and then we can have the healthier life together. So I'm sure that we can make it happen. So once again, at the urban areas, so I encourage you to just carry the other compass at your feet. It must be fun, and I'm quite sure so your life is going to be fulfilled. And then, so I think we just create a new type of the compost culture. Thank you very much. Thank you. And then finally, that Governor Kuroiwa, please. Yes, the most important message is that. So we need to change the behavior. Each one of us have to just change the behavior. These problems should be our own problems. So based upon the partnership, we actually connect together in order to achieve the SDGs. We have 3 keywords once again: mission, passion, and action. So these are 3 keywords. That's a strong message. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much for your participation. So this session, through this session, so I can actually present you that 4 successful cases of the localized activities. Of course, we can actually carry out the education for support people, and we have to improve the environment. And then you can see in your community, I think some of this activity must be done. So due to the COVID-19 outbreak, the reason why we are not freely moved around, so we have to actually stand at this moment of time. But having said that, we need to just take a look at, the closer areas. Maybe that's going to be a great driver that gives us a great chance to actually change. I would say that behaviors. If we try to just say that something, we try to just change something better. This is going to be brilliant, the initiatives that needed to be expanded to the entire world. Once again, thank you very much for your participation.